Good afternoon, YouTubers. T.O. here, Simplistic Fishing, back at you today. Back in the office, a little bit cold outside, so we're going to continue to do our lake breakdowns. We're still on Lake Whitney. I think we can finish it up in this episode. We're still on the Google Earth Waypoint side. We're back down on the east side, working our way back down to the dam where we started. I got a lot of good stuff for you guys. Stick around. Let's see what we can uncover. All right, well, let's jump into this thing. As we always do when we start off the lake breakdown videos, if you haven't watched these videos before, the way we do this is out on Google Earth. I basically separate everything out. So you can see here for Lake Whitney, I've got the Texas Park and Wildlife fish attractors. There were only a few on this one. We've got offshore hotspots that are out here as well. So if I move this up to 2021, you can see all the offshore hotspots that I have out there. Now, what I did is I just went out to Navionics and marked the offshore hotspots and then brought them into to Google Earth so we can have everything together. The Texas Park and Wildlife fish attractors, the offshore hotspots, the rocks, the Google Earth stuff, everything all in one for your graphs. So anyways, that's how we're going to break it down. So tonight, we're not going to focus on offshore. We're going to focus on basically everything but offshore. We ended at the bridge on the last video. So if you missed the last videos, just go out to the lake breakdown playlist out on the YouTube channel, and you can find all the previous ones. So we ended right here on the bridge, on the Katy Bridge, and we're moving our way on down south, and we'll probably finish up the Google Earth waypoints for Lake Whitney this evening. So I'm going to go ahead and move this over, and we're going to get started. So right here underneath the bridge, didn't see too much until we got right around in here. Did have some rock that was right here off the ledge, so that looked pretty good. You've also got a couple laydowns out here. Let me go ahead and move this back so you can see this a little better. I'm going to take this back to 2014 or 2015 where we can get a clear image. And this is why I like that rock. I like that little shelf that's there. That looks pretty cool. And then you got some laydowns out here that look pretty good. You've also got a little bit of a brush pile or something going on right in that area. And then, of course, back in here, you've got a ramp. There's also an older ramp that's right in here. You can barely see it, but it's right in that area. I think if I draw this back, 2011, yeah, it's too blurry. You can't see it, but you can definitely see it in the 2014 image. It's right in that area right there. Moving on back in here, you got a couple different things going on here. You got some rock in this area, some more rock going on right around in here. So I really like that. And then we're going to swing down and find just a couple things on this shoreline. We're getting into that bare shoreline, not a lot going on here, but there is a few things here. There's a laydown right in there. There's some debris. There's a pipe right here, and then there's some debris right beside it. So if I zoom in here, you'll see it. That's the debris I'm talking about, and then this is that pipe. So if you fish in this area, you can kind of hit that spot and hit these two spots in the same time if you're over here fishing this area. There's some pretty good debris right here. This one looks a lot more interesting. This looks like an old roadbed or maybe an old ramp. Couldn't tell what it was, but definitely something there. Nice big concrete slab to fish around for sure. Gonna have some fish on it. Also moving down here, didn't see too much going on this side. Of course, the river channel's over here, so we're kind of getting off into these flats on the side. Now, I'm not saying there's not much here, but just not a lot to mark for you guys from a Google Earth waypoints standpoint. So moving on down there, didn't see too much going on there until we got back in here. Got a little creek channel that comes back through here. You can see it if I zoom in. And then you got another boat ramp that's back over here too. The Lake Whitney boat ramp. So then I'm going to keep moving over. Got a little bit of a transition area right in here. So if you can get on your graph, see if that transition area continues out here, and you could have a nice little transition area going on somewhere in that vicinity. Those are a little bit harder to find sometimes, but sometimes they are just the absolute place to be fishing. You've also got some rocks out here off these points. You can see here. Kind of get some scattered rock going on. More scattered rock off these 2 points as well. A little more. Pretty much this whole area right in here would be good. And if you look really closely right here, look at the gap there is. And again, see if you can find that gap out here. And they'll set up right in between it or right on the edges of both of them. So always good places to look. Real good rock around this whole area. Really like that whole area, the way it sets up. Then we get back in here, not much going on back there, but then we get over here again. This is almost It could just be riprap. It kind of looks like riprap, but it's not as thick as normal riprap. But you got some pretty good rock going on right in this area, some good shallow dive and crankbait area, stuff like that. And it pretty much continues from there all the way down in here. Now, this little pocket I liked because if you look at it, it's just a little bit different. It's kind of got a little bigger pile, a little bigger boulders, whatever it is. It's just a little bit different than everything else. I really like that area right in that spot. As we move further down, again, I'm just marking you, telling you there's rock all along here, but you do have that little point there and a good transition area going on right in this spot as well. Then we get back in here, and pretty much, that might not even be a transition area because that's all man-made. But anyways, moving up here, I have the creek channel that goes up in here, so you can see that. There is some rock that's hidden right in here. I'm going to zoom in. I'm going to show it to you. So you can see it's just two little shells right in that spot. So if you get out there and take a look at that, that could be a good little spot. If you look at when the lake's up, that's going to be a little bit further out there into the water for sure. Let's go back to 2014. And up in here, got more creek channels going on here. You got some rock that's back in this area. You got a little bit back here in this channel. A little rock pile there, and then like a little rock shelf going on right in this spot. Kind of get the same thing going on here. You got these little bitty rock piles where it just kind of collects in a certain area. Always like those spots for sure. Moving up here, more rock. Imagine that. Little rock points. Like both of these. Kind of like this one because it has the rock that comes out and then it just kind of gets the sand, and it has a couple other smaller rocks or something like that going on right off the tip of it. So that's something different than all the other ones that are in the area. To keep moving on down and see what else we find down in here. We're getting into those bank lines that are a little bit tougher because they're just nothing to offer. This could be an old boat ramp, so check that out. I missed that one, didn't get to mark that one, but there is a nice little rock pile out here right off this point. And that is on a bunch of do nothing, anything. There's nothing anywhere close to this thing that would be worth fishing except for that right there, that little rock pile, in my opinion. Moving down here, we've also got some laydowns. Got a laydown here, got some more rock off this point that pretty much goes all the way down here, pretty much to that rock. Got some more in there, and then you get down here to the ramp. So this is all just that man-made riprap they put around these parks. Back in here, not too much going on back in here other than this ramp. You do have a ramp back here. These are pretty good. If they're not that active, sometimes these marina boat ramps, they're really not that active. So definitely check that one out, see if it's any good, and then come over here and you get into this really good rock. Good rock off these points right there on the side, that little point, this point, even right in there, where I may basically from rock to rock just fish that whole area. It should be a good area for you to look at. We get back in here, we're going to start talking about a lot of rock because we're getting back into the rock formation. So I'm just going to kind of point out the little key areas of rock you need to look at. Obviously, this whole area in here, I love it. This point, you can't patch up a point. So point with rock, you're good to go. Brush, we got a little brush, little lay down going on there. There's a little brush pile back in here. Let's see if I can get you a better image. Little brush pile back in there that you could check out. And then there's another one right here off this point. And, I love these secondary points. Like this point right here, I love how that sets up. I love how that one sets up. And I even like this one. If they're way back in here, in the back of these pockets, the big girls will set like right in here, during certain parts of the year. So you definitely want to check that out. Check out right here. Those are good stopping spots before they get way back in there. Going up here, just some rock off the edge, some more little just random rock piles. Like if you look here, it's all kind of consistent, but it's really jumbled up right in that area. This is just man-made riprap stuff they have around the parks, but again, real good piles here off the points. Some more right in here. So if you're on a shallow rock pattern, you are money basically from this rock all the way to up here. I mean, that is a lot of shallow cranking that you can do. And some pretty effective cranking that you should be able to do around those shallow rocks. Also, we get up in here and then we get into, there's a little bit of a ledge here. So I put rock, but it looks pretty like a pretty good sharp ledge in that area. So I'm interested to see what that is, but definitely marked it with rock. Ramp here, a rock pile just outside of that ramp right over here. It looks pretty healthy. And then we get into these random rock piles again right here. Pretty good little stretch, a good rock. And then here you get another little good stretch. I think there's one more. I thought there was one more. It was a little bit further down. I guess it's just a small pile. But this is just often just some little flat area, but just some random rocks just right there, they'll piled up. So you can go check those out if you want to. And there's a ramp back here too. That one's definitely off by itself. Not sure if that'd be a good one to fish, but hey, if they're on that boat ramp pattern, every ramp is going to be a good ramp to fish. As we move further down here, we get down off this point right here. I really like this. Down by the dam, deeper water, got a point that's coming out into really, really deep water with rock. I think this is going to be a really good place to set up. I bet that's probably even a community spot that a lot of people like to go fish. And then last but not least, we get down here by the dam, and that is actually where we started the Google Earth video. We're going to end right there on the riprap, and that finishes us up for Lake Whitney. Our next video series for Lake Whitney, we're going to go back and we're going to talk about all those offshore hotspots, but we're going to do it using Navionics so you guys can see the contour lines and see why I picked those as offshore hotspots. So hey, if you haven't gone out to our site yet, please do so, simplisticfishing.com. You can get an SD card with all these waypoints included on it, the offshore hotspots, the Google Earth stuff, the Texas Parks and Wildlife stuff, the tracks, the channels, all that good stuff, all right there on their graph. It definitely changes the way you fish. Hope you guys catch your PB, and until next time, I guess I screwed that up. Please be sure to subscribe, and until next time, hope you catch your PB. Take it easy, guys.